this is the 5-minute conversation. So to start with the story, in 2022, I was roommates with a girl named Samantha. Samantha was never able to come to Chi Alpha, but that didn't mean that God didn't meet her where she was at. I knew that Sam was dealing with some stuff, as she often went out and got drunk and on the weekends and partied on the weekdays. But I didn't know what the root was behind all of that. So after weeks of coming back to our dorm late, she finally asked me where I was and like why I was coming back so late. I was like, I was at Chi Alpha, and she was like, well, what's Chi Alpha? And I'm like, well, Chi Alpha, we're a Christian ministry. She said, oh, that's cool. And that short conversation opened up a doorway for us to have deeper religion conversations, and also just to like dive into like what it means to be a Christian, and just like we would spend a lot of time just like talking about political stuff, where I felt in like my stance on like political matters, as well as like talking about like personal religion stories, like what that like we talked about how I'm a non-denominational church, and how she grew up in I believe she was Baptist church, and we would just talk about that. And through this, I learned that she grew up as an army kid, with both her mom and her dad being in the army. So she bounced around a lot. But when she got to college, she fell away from church because it wasn't something that she was being told, hey, we're going to go to this anymore. And she just didn't know where her relationship was with God. So Sam is one of the many voices that you see on campus of people who come from a hard home. For her, it was deployment, but for others, it could be parental expectations, or it could be just abuse, or it could just be drugs, alcohol, poverty, whatever, you name it. But that fell away from God when they got to college, because they were no longer under the watchful eye of their parents. Statistics say that 50 to 80% of college students who are raised in church will walk away from their faith when they get to college. But it's our passion to reach out to those who are pulling away from their faith, like Sam, so that they always know that the love that God has for them. So, who am I? My name is Tori, and I am a 22-year-old social work graduate through Morehead State University. I was saved through Chi Alpha in 2021 and been with Chi Alpha at Morehead State ever since. I have a heart for reaching those who come from a broken home or a hard home life like Sam, and helping them relight the fire that they have with God by being a vessel that shows God's love through compassion and giving my time to those on campus. So, Sam was dealing with a lot when I was her roommate. She was feeling weighed down by the parental pressures of both her mom and dad being in the military, so they wanted her to be in the military too. And when she struggled to meet so she was an RTC, so when she would struggle with doing certain challenges, like there was a challenge where she had to like lift a weight in a pool and pass it around, and she was really struggling with that because she just didn't get it. She didn't know how to swim and balance herself above water while also holding a 20-pound weight. And it was hard for her because she's like, I can't tell my mom and dad about this. I had to be this perfect military daughter because my parents are also military. But so the only way she got to get the edge off was going out to like the frat parties, or going out to the bars, or going and just having or spending the weekends in her dorm just drinking, because that's the only thing that just helped her feel like there wasn't any pressure on her. But there are nightly conversations we have about faith and just about life in general, and her asking me what I thought about what I taught, and her asking me what I would teach at Bible study, because I would come home from Bible study. She'd be like, oh, how was it today? I said, it was good. She said, well, what did you go over? And I would go over what I went over with my small group. And then she would ask me on Wednesdays when I got back from Chi Alpha, like, hey, what did Pastor Rachel talk about? And I'm like, oh, she talked about this. And through that, she started going back to church. She would go to her home church that had a live service on Sunday, and she would just falling back into love with church. And as she started getting closer to God, she stopped drinking, she stopped partying, stopped hanging out with people who were drinking, who were partying, and me and her got closer. So, the call to action. So, as I mentioned before about statistics of 50 to 80% of people in college with a faith background lose it when they come to college. They and choose worldly things such as drinking and partying to get their comfort instead. So imagine the impact that Chi Alpha would have on these campuses in having a real theological discussions that help relight the fire that they have for Christ. So by joining my team, you're helping Chi Alpha reach the Sams on campus and helping them relight the flame that they have for the Word, thus helping us eliminate the statistic of college students who fall away from God.